What's up, Internet? I'm here today with the Star Wars The Vintage Collection ARC Trooper Jesse from the Clone Wars. As everyone knows by now, this is one of the three 501st Legion ARC Troopers that Hasbro has done in the Vintage Collection, alongside Fives and Echo. I didn't get them, and I didn't get that original 3-pack because, I really just wanted Jesse. I think he looks the coolest. And, it would be nice to have Fives and Echo, but it didn't happen that way. I don't know exactly why, but I just ended up not getting that pack, and then now I'm here and I've got the single release of Jesse, and I'm pretty excited for it because Jesse's definitely my favorite of the three, and of course we're using that that Vintage Collection ARC Trooper mold that we got with those Battlefront 2 ARC Troopers, which I did get all of those. I'll have a video for them up at some point. And it's a really good mold. I like it a lot. It's just like, that's a clone trooper. It's way better than that anorexic mold that we got with like the Bad Batch 4-pack and the 501st, the normal 501st Legion clone trooper. It just actually looks like someone's wearing armor. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that card back. And I actually am using this Lego Kashyyyk ATRT to hold up the card back because I think it would be funny. And the card back here, of course, we get the Clone Wars logo right here. We've got the yellow pill, which is actually not the same color as the pill for Fives and Echo. They're like a slightly more orange color. For some reason, Hasbro decided to not have them matching, and they decided to choose this yellow color for Jesse, which, for me, it doesn't affect me too much because I don't have those other two figures, but eventually when I do get them, it is going to be a little bit annoying. But we do have this nice image of Jesse here. For some reason, they don't want to use actual shots from the Clone Wars show. They do this a lot with the Clone Wars figures where they will like get this artwork somehow. And then some of them, they will use actual shots from the show. And I just think those look better because like that's the actual character. And this just obviously looks very fake and weird. And I don't really like it. But it doesn't look bad or anything like that. And taking a look at the back, we can see the rest of the figures in the wave. I did pre-order the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper and the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain. I pre-ordered them from eBay because I make great decisions. So those will be here by December, which I didn't realize for some reason because, once again, I'm very intelligent. But I'll get those at some point, and I'll make videos of them then. I need to get these other figures in the wave, and we'll get there eventually. Got the Vintage Collection logo and all of this stuff down here. And that's the card back, so let's go ahead and get on to the figures accessories. First up, we got that larger clone rifle. Pretty sure it's the DC-15A. There's no paint apps on this, it's just molded in black. And there it is. You also get the DC-15S, I believe. Also just molded in black, no paint apps. And then you got two of these DC-17 pistols. It's really hard to focus on them. Also just molded in black with no paint apps. You can slot the pistols into the holsters here on the comma, just like this. And let's go ahead and take a look at that figure. So you've got the helmet, and I guess you could also consider this an accessory. It looks really good. I do fear sometimes with the Vintage Collection, they do mess up the helmet paint sometimes. But this one looks really good, even the Republic logo up there. The blue around it, that circle that goes around the logo, is a little bit lopsided, but it looks okay. And then taking a look at the rest of the helmet, it's just painted blue all the way around. We got the rangefinder here, which is a little bit bent because of the packaging. It's unfortunate. I'm sure I can just heat it up and reshape it a little bit, but right now I'm fine with it. Of course, you can bend it down, and that's what it looks like. And then you do have the fin on top of the helmet, which Fives and Echo have also, which is accurate to them because they did use that Phase 2.5 helmet, but Jesse just used that Phase 2 helmet that didn't have the fin. The box art actually does have his helmet using a fin, which is kind of weird, but it is a little bit inaccurate, but I'm fine with it. Here's a look at his head. It's bald, so it's not like Echo and Fives where it has hair, so you do get a slightly different head sculpt with that. Of course, he's got the Republic tattoo up there on his forehead. It looks really great, and the rest of the paint apps on the face look really awesome. Looks exactly like Temuera Morrison. Really, really nice looking head sculpt right there. You can easily slip off that extra armor he has over his chest plate, and it's just all in one piece. You got the extra chest piece, the ammo pouch, the pauldrons, and the backpack all together. Of course, on the slot of the backpack right there, you got a little space where you can put the DC-15 rifle. Only this one will fit on there, unfortunately, but it is really nice that you can get it to fit there. Not even the Black Series ARC Troopers can do that. And here's a closer look at that backpack. You just get a little bit of extra shiny gunmetal gray paint that differentiates the different components of the backpack. It looks a lot like the Black Series ones do, just of course we have different color pauldrons. And taking a look at the chest plate again, you do get that blue stripe that goes down the middle, and it is a little bit off to the side. It's supposed to be going right down the middle, but it's okay. It doesn't bleed over onto the ammo pouch, and it's just one of those things, I guess. I'm not too upset about it because it doesn't, ruin the look of the figure. And here's what he's got going on underneath all of that extra armor. This is just what it looks like. I don't think you can take off the belt and the comma. I haven't tried doing that. I don't really care to do that. But looking at the articulation, with the head articulation, you get down this much, you get up this much, which is a pretty good amount. Of course, you get the 360 all the way around. You get tilt and tilt, so you got pretty great range of motion right there. And I will take a look at the articulation with all the extra armor on, so we can get a look at what that's going to be like. And looking at the arm articulation, you do get up that much. It can go all the way around. You do get out a little bit, and it goes in a little bit. Let me get a closer look at that joint in there. That's what that looks like. And so you got elbow that goes up that much. It goes back a little bit for some reason. And then you get the wrist, which goes all the way around. And then you've got the, I think this is the one. No, this also goes up and down that much. And then the other wrist looks like it's going to do the same thing. It also goes up and down. And on those wrist pads, you do get some good paint apps with the buttons right there. There's that little rocket-looking thing that I don't actually know what it is. And then the other one on the other side just has those ridges. With the torso articulation, you only get to go down this much because the belt kind of hinders it a little bit. And then you got the back that goes this much, so you do get some good stuff right there. You do get the side to side, but only a little bit because of the belt. And then moving down to the leg articulation, you do, well, let me figure this out. You can get it to go up that much if you mess with the joints a little bit, but it can only go out barely any at all. I don't know what that was, but it barely goes out at all because of the comma, and since it is that soft, well, it's not soft goods, it's like a soft plastic material, you're not going to get very much articulation out of it. Taking a look, well, we do actually also have the thigh swivel right there, and then at the knee we get back that much, which is pretty nice, and then with the ankle we get back that much and forward that much, and then we do get an ankle rocker. The only thing I don't like with the articulation here, and it's like this with all the other figures that use this mold, the leg articulation is a little bit stiff, and it's hard to get it into precise poses, kind of. Like the feet don't want to really stay down that much, and so it's going to be hard to get the figure to stand up. It's just like, it's not very loose articulation. It's all kind of stiff and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't move very smoothly, and maybe that's just because my figure is newer. I haven't messed with it that much, but it is a little bit unfortunate. But you also can see we got some blue paint apps down on the legs right there, and that extra ARC Trooper armor, as well as some gray paint apps on the knees. So something that's kind of annoying with all this extra armor is that it kind of makes the helmet want to pop off a little bit. That's as much down as you can get with the helmet when you have all the armor on. That's as much as you can get it to look up. You can get a little bit of a tilt out of it, which is nice since that armor is loose on there. It's not going to restrict too much movement, but that's basically just me moving the helmet around and not the actual head. So it's not the greatest, and since the helmet doesn't fit very loosely or very tightly on there, the helmet is loose on the head. You're not gonna get too many great poses out of it because it's going to be easy for the helmet to come off, and so you're really just going to be like messing with the helmet most of the time and not the actual articulation. It's kind of the same thing with the armor for the torso. It's very loose on there, and if you like mess with it too much, it might pop the helmet off, and you kind of all want it to stay on there. But I guess it's just like a price we got to pay because we can remove all that armor. So it is nice. It just has a few downsides. And the chest articulation with the armor on there is going to be all the same. It doesn't really prohibit that a little bit. Same thing with the arm. It does go up. You just can't get it all the way up. And you can't get the arm to... it's going to bend outward if you try to move it up. So that's what the articulation is like with the armor on. So the articulation for this figure is pretty good. There's just some annoying little things about it that I wish could be changed. Other than that, though, I mean, you're going to be able to get it to do what it needs to do, except for maybe with the legs because of that soft plastic comma that you got going on there. Other than that, it's all good. And just finishing up taking a look at the paint apps of the figure and the sculpts and everything. At the comma, you of course got all those pouches and the holsters on there. You have the pouches that go around on the back next to the thermal detonator. And then you've got some nice gray paint apps kind of acting as a trim along the comma. And then, of course, like I said, you got the stuff on the gauntlets. You got the stuff on the legs, which looks like that. There is actually some gray paint on the feet right there. And that's basically all it is. It is a scaled down version of the Black Series ARC Trooper mold. And so it's pretty familiar. But with it being a figure that's kind of at a smaller scale, there isn't really too much more to talk about. It looks really good. It has great articulation. I just wish that the legs were better. They're just really annoying to deal with, kind of. And of course, you got the warped rangefinder right there. There's always going to be a few cons, though. You can't ever have a completely perfect figure, but I think we got a really good one here. And so it kind of speaks the same kind of thing for Echo and Fives. It's just different paint apps and a different head sculpt, and I really like it. I'm not a massive fan of this character. It was just the coolest looking one out of those three 501st ARC Troopers, and I knew it was a figure I had to get, being a Clone Trooper fan, and it's really nice to have in the collection. It looks really good with all the other troopers, and it's really nice to look at. It is a very good looking figure. I wish they would use this Clone Trooper mold on more figures and stop using that other mold that they keep using that's really skinny and everything. I don't hate that mold because sometimes it's okay, but I don't want them to use it anymore now that we have this. And they said they are going to have a new Clone Trooper mold soon. I don't know if it's just going to be this, but without all the extra armor, because this is also new. And it is really good, so I hope it's just this, but without all the extra armor. But we'll have to see. But yeah, that was the Star Wars The Vintage Collection ARC Trooper Jesse. And that's basically the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.